I knew I had an unknown object in front of me.
So an alien code was received 42 years back. It was a time during USA and USSR conflict in 1980s. To be precise, it was December 26, 1980 when this USA radar captured this unknown flying object just outside the base station. Even the guards on duty, they noticed some unusual lights in the sky.
These men saw unidentified lights in the forest from the gates of Bentwaters. Radar indicated it could potentially be a downed aircraft.
So on-duty officer, Staff Sergeant Jim and Airman First Class John, they quickly dispatched to the woods with the team for further investigation. What they saw was a silhouette of this triangular UFO lowering to the floor.
As I was getting out of the vehicle, it felt like there was static electricity in the air. Things felt abnormal. Both of us at that point kind of looked at each other and realized that maybe something was actually going on.
The air around the object was electrified. It was like dancing on our skin and our clothes. At that point in time, I knew it was an aircraft crash. I knew I had an unknown object in front of me.
The Staff Sergeant Jim, he quickly took out his diary to make the notes. And like while drawing, he notices some mysterious symbols are carved on the plane. So out of this curiosity, Jim went so close to the plane, he got a chance to touch those symbols.
One of the things that sets Rendlesham Forest apart from almost every other UFO case you look at is this wasn't just lights in the sky. This was a landed UFO. John Burroughs and Jim Penniston got extremely close to this object. It had come down in a small clearing in a forest, and indeed Jim Penniston claims that he got so close to this thing he was able to reach out and touch it.
I took my hand and ran them over the bottom symbols all the way across. It felt like going from the smoothness of the metal to like feeling sandpaper on each of them.
And as soon as he touches those symbols, ones and zeros got burned into his memory.
Out of all the glyphs, there was one that was larger than all the other ones. And so I decided to go ahead and touch that one. When I touched that symbol, I had an explosion of white light where I couldn't see. I was blinded. And I started seeing ones and zeros flashing. They were like inside my mind's eye. I think I was just plain terrified. Somehow I was able to go ahead and pull my hand off and it stopped. The craft started to move a little bit and it was gone in a blink of an eye.
The most shocking thing is the time difference on the wristwatches of Staff Sergeant Jim and Airman First Class John. It was 45-minute difference. So is it like maybe time stopped for John, or maybe Sergeant Jim traveled with the aliens, or this whole event just affected their memories? It's still a mystery.
Whatever we encountered affected our memory. And at one point, because of the static electricity or the whatever was in the air, it could have affected our memory, or could have affected what we saw.
When John Burroughs and Jim Penniston returned to base, it transpired that more time had elapsed than they realized. Moreover, there was discrepancy in their wristwatches. Time, it seemed, not only had run on, but had maybe run at different speeds for them. Now this takes us to some quite extraordinary territory, but when you talk to both John and Jim, and indeed to people who looked at this case, some quite extraordinary theories are being bounced around, ideas of time travel.
So stay tuned for the part 2, and I'm gonna share the actual recording of this UFO incident.